one thing that Raphael said in this transmission, which was interesting, was notice in your experience around you what is the same as what happened in the situation in the past, not only in your behavior, not only in the way that you're thinking and perceiving, but even objects, like even the way things are, energy is moving in your home, even the way you perhaps were driving to work, even the way that you were, so many things that seem like they're not related are hold a template, like a pattern. So let's say I'm not good at making my bed. I've been getting up every day and just making it. And it's really nice at night to go in and be like, oh, my bed's made. So it's a shift in a pattern. It doesn't seem like that would perhaps relate anyway to maybe aligning with abundance or a new job or something. But it does, because you're registering the signature of your everyday experiences and routines are not anchored in a template that mirrors the pattern that you've had before, if that makes any sense. So that's why we often travel, or we move our furniture, or we clean out our closet, or we drive to work in a different route, or we make new friends, right? Because if we're always stuck in a stagnant template of pattern that we've always done, it can be like simple things like changing your toothpaste, going to the other side of the sink, switching the side of the bed that you're sleeping on from your partner to the other side, moving things around. If you feel like you're really caught in something that you can't move out of, you can actually change the energy field just in simple things as well. So when we're connecting with the elements, we're feeling the surge of that pure energy, the pure water, the purity of the earth. So in this transmission, Raphael asks us, plant a seed. So go outside and get your hand in the dirt, feel the dirt, touch the dirt, touch the tree, talk to the tree. Shift things up, open the directions, move past your comfort zone, make your altar, put on silly clothes, like change, because this is about changing the patterns. And I was saying, I think this morning to Devashri, like the old story of somebody wins the lottery, millions and millions of dollars, and it's amazing, right? But within a couple years, they're like in debt somehow and have no money, because their frequency and perception around that didn't change. An influx of something came, but that the way they related to it and their perception of it wasn't any different than it was originally. So it has to revert back to what frequency you're projecting out. It has to. It's the natural law. And so it's all about our perception. And Devashri had some beautiful things to say about that this morning. If you want to share with us, that would be great for a minute or two, and then we'll play the transmission. Are you there?
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I think it was the discussion about how we're all creating every single minute, and we're born as human beings, we come in as complete human beings, except for the heart, which keeps birthing itself all through our lifetime, right? And that's that nexus point. And so all the information that we receive from our experiences widens that central node, which connects the opposite ends of every experience. And that gives you the ability to create. So every time I think we create, we have the capacity to create every single possible timeline. So when I make a choice to be a millionaire, I also make a choice to not be a millionaire. And that exists in the ethers. And then all these, it's like a very complex algorithmic system. And they're all existing in parallel universes. And so we just have to choose to see the one that we want to see and bring it into our experience. And that's really all there is to it. And I think that's how we understand the entire construction of our reality as being projected by the stars. The light from the stars comes in, creates this crisscrossing, and creates this reality. And eventually, how we perceive this is our programming. And so if you choose a pattern that doesn't work for you, which you know doesn't work, it goes into what is called as a reincarnation. Like it'll just come back because it needs to be recycled because it didn't work the first time. And then so you then you have to go through that creational loop again until you choose an option that works to upgrade the entire system at large.
Mm.
So if you choose being the millionaire because you can provide a better vision for the planet, that's the optimum timeline and that gets chosen for you. And the only thing that separates you from that is just that you don't see that that's how it works. Like we just don't see it. So I find that another amazing way to look at it is, so what is the best possible outcome from this choice? Not for me, but for the entire environment, like for the entire planet.
Mm.
And the more you can stretch that possibility out, the better your decisions and the better your choosing, what it is what is the pattern that you want to follow.
And that
Sorry,
sort
very long
Oh,
winded.
no, that's amazing. And that leads into the twin flame, as we can't merge with that frequency unless we're in a alignment with something of the greater good or of service that opens up the space for that energy to move, right?
And that's why the choice is made in the heart. It cannot be made in the head.
Mm.
And it cannot be a choice that's just providing us our security and our grounding either. So it's not here and it's not there, but it's in the center. And that's the one that one choice then goes through all the 0 points across all the timelines. So it's like it has a geometry to it,
So
which is how nature works. It keeps imploding to create.
right, it's in the intersection point or the 0 point. So then there was something you were saying to me this morning. I think you were talking about the body. It's just how whatever it is that we choose to perceive it, it's that easy, right?
Yeah, because eventually it's energy. So whatever it is that you project onto your body is the energy that somebody else is going to read of the body that you're walking in. And it's not really what you think you're seeing is not even real. It's the energy that you're projecting into it. It's exactly how the entire reality is constructed. It's not real. We've been told several times, right? It's all just patterns of light. So there's nothing in it. It's empty. But the energy is what transmutes, and you can share that energy. So if you can share love into the image of your body, then that's what somebody else is going to perceive in the same body, or its beauty, or its attractiveness, or its health, or whatever it is then.
It always
But,
comes.
but for that, we have to shift out of this hardened idea that the body is what I see in the mirror. Like it's so ingrained, that structuring in the mind is so strong that, yeah, I see that this body has this flaw, so it has this flaw. But apparently, that's not how it works. So, so we're going to have to shift our ways of seeing and see energetically, like just see just the energy that it represents. And which is probably what the subtle body exercise is about. It's like if your soul was given sensory perception, what would it see? The soul is not going to see what you see through your eyes in the physical dimension. And so it's like if your soul had a pair of eyes, it's just going to see that beauty in that body.
Mm.
So if we can shift that perspective, maybe that helps shift timelines.
So it's just see, and when we're with the trees, or we're tuning to our tail, or the earth element, or the water element, it's forcing us to feel and sense and see the energy, to move away from the construct and into the magic, which shifts our perception.
It's like you always say, when Raphael is looking at us, she doesn't see our bodies, she sees these orbs of different lights and geometries, right?
Hmm.
But we don't see it that way. And so we have to start moving the way we see things, just shift out of that as far as possible. And I think then all of these things aid us in the way that we can shift that perception. And it's very subtle and it's very abstract at times.
Very much so. But it makes a huge difference. And
Yeah.
it's just your energy. It has nothing. I mean, think about how many times any of you have been at a party with someone who the construct of their body didn't fit
Mm.
to this what we think is beautiful, and yet they were by far the most
They're the
beautiful.
most powerful person in the room.
Yeah. And they may have a million roles and what, but they're in their body and they love themselves and they're just radiating that light. And so it has nothing to do with those constructs.
That is the creator's ownership of his creation or her creation, right? The minute you own the creation, it comes to life.
Hmm.
So if you can own that timeline, you can then create whatever you want with it.
So let's take, because this is an important one for a lot of people, money. Same thing, right? It's just the perception of being in that. It's only how we're perceiving it. It's nothing else other than that.
Yeah. I think all those options are available somewhere in your reality. It's like you have 10 boxes that haven't been opened, and one of those boxes has a lot of money. But you've only been looking to the left and you're looking at the box that doesn't have that money in it. And so all you have to do is you just have to turn your head, look at all the other boxes, and be willing to explore every box. Just open all the boxes and see what's inside. And that is that action, the actionable, right? The idea that I have to turn my head, I have to open all these other boxes and see if I find money in one of them. And you will find money in the box that makes you the happiest.
Of course.
So if one of those 10 boxes is supremely beautiful and it just brings so much joy to me, that's probably the box that's going to have the money in it. But it's all you create that whole thing. You just create all of it.
All of it. All of it. We
And
create
it's
all of it.
very it's confusing and it's hard to imagine that that's how it works,
But it does.
I think it then starts to surprise you that it does really work like that.